living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
I don't believe it. It's not possible.
Is it really so hard to believe?
Stop. Let me out. Let me out. I want out.
Bulls versus bears. As Bitcoin cracks $30,000, how high can we go? Do you believe that we're going to see lower price action, or do you believe that the bull market is back? Please comment below. Hope you're ready. What's happening, crypto crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. Bitcoin has got back below $30,000 at the current time of this recording, but we'll look at that in the charts here in a little bit, so make sure you watch this one until the end. It's teetering right there, right at that $30,000 mark. What's Bitcoin going to do? Is it going to hold? With our first update today, we're seeing that there's almost 1 million addresses that hold 1+ Bitcoin, a new all-time high. So historically, every time this metric here, addresses with at least 1 Bitcoin, have made new all-time highs, what happens? The price follows every single time, because the Hodler ratio is increasing over time. Michael Saylor says it, you should consider a Bitcoin strategy. Why is that? This is the performance since August 10th, 2020, when MicroStrategy adopted its Bitcoin strategy. Right here, look at Bitcoin compared to the S&P, NASDAQ, gold, silver, and bonds, up 152%. So eventually, these metrics are going to get out to other Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies. They're going to be asking Michael, hey, how'd you do it? Show me. They're going to start putting Bitcoin on their books as well. An update from Matthew Hyland. This is Bitcoin on the monthly. And as you see this, we come back and we hit our head, break through, retest, blast off, bear market, come up, break through, retest, blast off, bear market, come through, break up, retest, and it's gonna be another blast off. How high we'll go, time will tell, but all you see is that if history's any indication, every time we break through this yellow resistance, Bitcoin gets extremely parabolic. An update from Tech Dev. Each time this happened, crypto made new highs within 6 to 12 months. This is major. Why is this? Because this could go against the Bitcoin halving cycle, the 4-year cycle. Every 4 years, Bitcoin has put a new high in, but the halving is not until April of 2024. Are we going to see a new all-time high before that within 5 to 12 months? Looking at this, every single time, the CN 10-year over the DXY, every time it crosses over this 20 EMA, then within a year's time, a new all-time hits. Every single time, new high. Every single time, new high. Every single time. And look, we just crossed it just now. So are we going to see a new all-time high within the next 12 months before the next halving? That would be a first for Bitcoin. Looking at the charts, what do we see? What can we anticipate? So, history doesn't rhyme, but it definitely repeats. As we look here, this was back in the 2017 bull run, and Bitcoin came up and hit its head before blasting up, making that all-time high, and then came back. This orange line is what we want you to pay attention to, because when we fell through this orange line, we retested it, and this ultimately put the bottom back in December 2018. Then we came back up in the 2019 rally. Now, looking at the 4-year cycle, this is where Bitcoin peaked out around that almost $14,000 level. So if history's any indication of how high Bitcoin is about to go, and we use this similar metric, as you see, Bitcoin came up, blasted through this, retested once, twice, we fell through it. If Bitcoin comes up and hits its head on this orange line once again, it depends on how fast Bitcoin does it, but how high potentially could Bitcoin go? If it's by the middle to the end of June of this year, it could be $58,000 to $60,000, almost a new all-time high. Then we could cool off going into the 2024 halving, maybe retesting the low 30s before ultimately having that bump up to the upside and blasting up for that fifth leg. That could be a play if it goes there any faster. Now, no one knows how high this is going to go. We're just basing this off of history, but this is a potential price target around that $50,000 to $60,000 for Bitcoin. And then another update, as you see right here, Bitcoin versus the US dollar on the weekly. The RSI has been oversold. We've just been stair-stepping our way up to the upside. And this is just a bar pattern that we just mirrored from here to here and then flipped it. So we mirrored it. As you see right here, Bitcoin broke through this resistance level and currently could be running up to that range, but we mentioned about 52 to 53,000 before coming back down and retesting this and flipping this resistance to support before ultimately having that blast up and making a new all-time high. Now, this is just a fractal pattern. We have the Bitcoin dominance showing a lot of strength. If we zoom into the price action, we'll see what we see and why we say this. You see here, Bitcoin has been in this channel and just sort of trading, up and down in this channel, hit our head, came up. But look here, we broke out of this channel. This has been a major level of resistance really since May of 2021. Bitcoin broke out of this. At the current time it's recording, Bitcoin's almost at 49%. How high will Bitcoin go? Time will tell us the weekly charts. And look at what happened on the weekly. We just got this long call. So every time we get a long call with EMAs, Bitcoin tends to take off. Here's the last long call, and when this was actually called here, Bitcoin ultimately ended up going up another 28%. So if we do anything similar to that move when we got this long call and Bitcoin goes up another 28%, this could take Bitcoin up to roughly that 60% Bitcoin dominance range. So is that what's in the cards? Is Bitcoin the spot to be? This could be that inverse Bart Simpson pattern right here. We see a chop and then a blast back up to these previous areas here. So is Bitcoin going to come back up into this range and then start to just chop in here? If you look and see what this could form a major head and shoulders. If it does some chop in here, this could be the other shoulder. Now, where's that going to take Bitcoin? Is that going to be Bitcoinization? How long will it take for that to play out? Time will definitely tell. Another Bitcoin chart, looking at Bitcoin versus the US dollar on the weekly. What do we see? What do we anticipate at the current time it's recording? As we mentioned, Bitcoin's coming in a little below 30,000 at 29.9. But we are still bullish for the Bitcoin price action because as you see right here, look at this purple box. There's a lot of confluence. Bitcoin tested this a few times here, a few times down here, and it acted as support briefly before we broke down and ultimately then ended up putting in that bottom. But as you see right here, Bitcoin came back up, and if we zoom into this price action to take a closer look, Bitcoin kept hitting its head. It wasn't able to break through this right away. It fell short here, hit its head here, and fell short here, and then ultimately broke back up into that box. Now this box is very important because we have to hold. This is Bitcoin on the weekly, and right now we just wicked into this box. We still have a few more days this week until this candle closes. If we close into this box and hold this level, the major level we want to hold against is that 29.1K level. If we do, Bitcoin is going to start stair-stepping its way up to the next levels and coming out of the depths and rising from the ashes. Keep this in mind. You leave you with this here from Moon Shilla. What he's showing you here is that from the peak to the top, roughly after a year, we have an 84% correction and a 77% correction. Then from the bottom, this takes about 133 days from the bottom, and then from there, once we break the upside, coming up to that 0.79, that's where we sort of had that 13.8K range last bear market before ultimately bottoming out once again. And if this is any indication of where we could be going, that 0.79 range, where is this going to be at? It's going to be roughly around that $50,000 to $52,000 threshold. So this is what we could see in the cards for Bitcoin. We showed you this in the charts. We showed you the confluence here on this chart. The $50,000 range could be in the cards for Bitcoin. With that, what do you think? Do you think that Bitcoin could make it back up to these ranges? The current time it's recording, Bitcoin broke back above that $30,000 level. So right now, Bitcoin's flirting with the $30,000 level. Will we see a blast through in the days to come? Please leave your comments below. And with that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today, and I'm out.